on the 4 hour time frame, I would still like to see a proper pullback. All right, so I would like to see price come in between these regions before taking off for a decent 2 to 1. Welcome back, guys. You can see how price tapped into that zone. Initially, it came close before taking off without giving us an entry bet. If probably you took it regardless, then if you did this on the 15 minutes time frame, you must have made money. But if all you were waiting for was for price to come into this area, just like I instructed, this was the moment on Thursday when you would have gotten your opportunity, right? And if you go to the 15 minutes time frame, I mean, this area is where you would have gotten in from, and see how price rallied all the way to the upside. So if you're looking for 2 to 1 like me, you would have more than gotten your 2 to 1. So going into next week, what should we be expecting? Well, next week is going to be a tricky one, because if we go to the weekly time frame, you can see the weakness in this candle. It looks something like a dodgy candle, right? It didn't go the way last 2 weeks went. There's no much statement here. It was more like a range. So let's look at the daily. Okay, the daily is looking like we're pointing upwards. So let me go to the 4 hour time frame. Meanwhile, if you took the trade from the bottom here, then you are still safe, right? You can just be trailing your profit all the way to the top, because I called this last week, right? But if you are not already in this trade, then you have to be patient, guys. You really, really have to be patient. So I'm just going to put a zone around here and put a line above the zone for easy identification. So I think price is going to continue higher until we come into this level. So what happens at this level now, I cannot say for sure, because price can easily break above it and continue upward to continue the upward trend, or price may reject it and drop back down into this level. All right. So for those that are already buying from here, if you get a selling opportunity from here, you could decide to sell. All right. Most likely our target will be this 2,483. But for those that have not made money yet in this bullish scenario, then you have to be patient. All right. You can't afford to take the kind of risk people that are already making money will take. All right. Because if they lose, they still have some backup funds to play with, right, on the next trade. So if you're not already in this trade, I'll advise you wait for price to create a new higher high above here, which is above 2,530.952. Then you want to catch it on the pullback and catch a brief 2 to 1 trade. All right, you can do that. That's scenario one. Then scenario two, I would like to see, for me to sell, for me to be confident in the sell, then I'd like to see price. And why am I even looking at the bearish scenario? Is because of the weakness in that weekly candle. All right, that weekly candle is so weak that the bullishness is not really, really strong. You get the point I'm trying to make, right? So for me to sell, it's going to be a short sell anyways, just a mere pullback. So I'd like to see price break below 2,473.644 area. All right, break below it, then I'll catch it on the pullback. Then my target would be a very short sell, because the bearish scenario is a risky one. So you have to be very, very careful. All right. So the bearish target will be 2,431.644. That will be the bearish target. But for bulls, if you didn't catch it from where I predicted last week, then just wait for price to break above 2,530, then catch it on the pullback for a quick 2 to 1 trade. All right. So that is my bullish and bearish scenario on gold going into next week. So the next on my list is EURJPY. So I think from here, price may stall for a little bit on EURJPY. Maybe stop for a little bit before we continue lower. So welcome back, guys. You can notice that that is exactly what is going on EURJPY right now. Throughout last week, price moved sideways. I mean, this was Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Price basically just moved sideways. If we go to the 4 hour time frame, you're going to see it clearly, right? Price basically just moved sideways on EURJPY. But next week, hopefully, I'm still expecting price to drop. All right, so this downside with our target being 154.920, just like I said last week, right? And our bullish scenario will be, let's say the bearish scenario fails, then our bullish scenario remains the same as last week. Price has to break above 164.830, then we want to catch it on the pullback, stop loss below, take profit 1673.346. All right, so basically the same analysis from last week. So the next on my list is USD JPY. On USD JPY, before we completely go bearish on this, I would advise you wait for price to take out this level here, which is 145.903. Wait for price to break below it, switch to a much lower time frame, and then take advantage of this trade to the downside. My target is 140.000. So welcome back, guys. USD JPY also price broke below here, right? As you can see, just like I analyzed last week, then went back for the pullback, came back down a little bit, still went back into that same zone for the same pullback, just basically ranging, right? Then towards the end of last week, we started seeing some impulsive move to the downside. Going into next week, I'm still expecting price to drop further to the downside. My first target will be here, 142.196. And if price takes that out, then our overall target for now is 140.000. All right, but I'll give a bullish scenario just in case price decides to be crazy next week, right? So if price continues higher and this bearish side to things fails, I like to give bullish and bearish scenarios so that we can easily recover quickly, right? I would like to see price break above 146.539 area, create a new higher high, right? Then want to catch it on the pullback. Our stop loss below 145.903, then our bullish target will be a short one, all right, into 149.288. All right, but I think I am more bearish than bullish. This bullish scenario is just a backup plan in case the bearish side of things fails. All right, so the next on my list is DXY. For next week, I'll expect to see, I'll still like to see price continue trading to the downside. I think I'll have this here. So if you're not already in this bearish move, I would like to put a line around here. Okay, so I'd like to see price break below the 102.277 area. I'd like to see price break below it, come back for a pullback, catch it on the 15 minutes time frame to our overall target for now, which is 101.657. So welcome back, guys. You can see how DXY played out perfectly, though our initial target was 101.657, but price had other plans and price is still pointing downwards. Anyways, our analysis played out perfectly, and then we are going down. But where are we going to? Where is DXY actually going to? Well, with this impulsive move so far, and due to the fact that price has taken out our initial target, the next target is 99.896. All right, I think that is where DXY is heading into, 99.896. That's where DXY will most likely drop into. So if you are not already in this trade, how do you take advantage of this trade? I'll go to the 4-hour time frame and I'm going to give bullish and bearish scenarios as usual. But initially, I'd like to see price pull up into this zone. That's if we are lucky enough, right, for price to give us an initial pullback into 101.030. All right, then price may most likely drop from there into 99.896. All right, that is my most likely scenario, the scenario I'll actually like to see. All right, but if the bearish side fails and let's say for whatever reason price kicks into next week and we start pushing higher, then I'll be patient enough for price to break above 101.653. In that case, we'll have a new higher high created, then a pullback, then our bullish target will be 102.277. Remember, we're taking advantage of this on the 15 minutes time frame. So what looks to be a tight space on the 4-hour time frame is actually a massive space on the 15 minutes time frame. So those are my bullish and bearish scenarios on DXY bets. I actually want to see the bearish side play out, right? So initially, an initial pullback into 101.030 or these areas here, all right, these areas here, before we now sell off, or price should just create this new higher high, then we're going to catch it on the pullback before we buy. All right, so those are the bullish and bearish scenario on DXY. So before I go to the next pair on my list, if you've made it this far and you are yet to hit that like button or even subscribe to this channel, please do so. Also make sure you leave a comment down below or leave a fire emoji or money bag emoji in the comment section down below. That's the only way you can support this channel. At least just give us a feedback so that we know you are there and we are all in sync with each other. All right. So the next on my list is Euro USD. Now, I will still be expecting price to continue higher. Where do you catch this trade if you are not already in this trade? Well, on this, I'll go to the 15 minutes time frame. I'm just going to box the top of this. So you need to be patient for price to take out, let me put a line there for easy identification, take out 1.10476. Wait for price to break above it, come back for a retest, catch it on the pullback, then trade to your targets. Our targets will now be here. So welcome back, guys. You can see how Euro USD played out perfectly, but what I noticed going to the 15 minutes time frame is we didn't get our pullback. The pullback actually happened below the zone, not above the zone. All right, but it is what it is. If you are actually waiting for that pullback, let's even go to the 15 minutes time frame and look at this. So if what you were looking for was the pullback after price broke out of that 1.10 476 area, then that pullback didn't happen, but it is what it is. Price eventually made its way into our target, right? So depending on how you capitalize on that, if you're waiting for the pullback, of course you wouldn't have gotten this, but if there was another way you executed the trade, of course obviously it played out, right? Went to our target and price even broke above it and retested our target and shot all the way up again. So where is Euro USD going into? Euro USD is coming into 1.12421. All right. But if you are not in this trade already, so how do you take advantage of this? I'm going to look just like what I did on DXY. I'm going to give a bullish and bearish scenario on this. All right. So the first pullback area will be here, just like I did on DXY, right? So I'd like to see price pull back if we are lucky enough. That is if you are not in this trade already, because I already told you where to take advantage of this trade from. So I'm doing this for latecomers. All right. So if you are not in this trade already, then this is where I'll most likely be expecting a pullback to come into before we take off into 1.12421 area. All right, because price may just open on Monday, or let me say next week, and just continue higher, and there's nothing we can do about it. All right. So but if we are lucky enough to get this pullback, then this would be a good place to look for a confirmation. But if that fails and price decides to continue going lower, so what we are going to do is to wait for price to break below 1.11067 area. Then we'll catch it on the pullback. Then it's going to be a short sell into where we are coming from, which is 1.10476. All right. So these are the bullish and bearish scenarios. All right. We can buy from here. Price could also come back into this zone and buy from here. See, guys, I can't explain all of this in one video. If you want to learn all these inner workings of how my analysis works and all of them, just grab the mentorship program. That's just the truth. That is just the truth. All right. I can't explain all of this I can't be making 1 hour long weekly analysis video. People won't even watch it because they don't like lengthy videos like that. All right. So there are so many things that I want to say that I cannot say, I cannot cover in this video. So just do yourself a favor. Any of our mentorship program is going to work. Please just invest in your future. So that way, if I'm doing this analysis, you can even better understand what I am saying. You have the mentorship program and you have the analysis. So when I'm saying things that when I'm not going into details, you already know what I'm talking about. You get the point. It's not like I don't want to go into details, but it's going to be 1 hour long. All right. I don't have time for that. And neither do you. Your time is so precious, and I value your time so much to keep you here for 1 hour. You have better things to do. All right. So well, that's that for now. That's my bullish and bearish scenario on Euro USD. So the last on my list for this week is GBP USD. So GBP USD from last 2 weeks, if you've been watching my video, remember that from last 2 weeks, I predicted that if price breaks above here, we want to catch it on the pullback, and our target is 1.30000 to infinity, right? That was the analysis from last 2 weeks or so, right? You can go back and revisit the videos. The numbers don't lie. It's up there on YouTube. The dates are there and everything. So you can go and confirm for yourself. So last week, my analysis was, hey, price was trading around here. If we're lucky enough for price to give us a pullback into this area, then we are going to buy into that same target, right? But price didn't come for the pullback. and that was for latecomers, right? Because if you were following from last 2 weeks, you would have caught it from here. But it is what it is. Price failed to come for the pullback, but we did make it to our target. Price even went beyond that and just continued blasting higher. So going into next week, what should we be expecting? So next week is going to be a tricky one on GBP USD. What do I mean? I'm on the weekly time frame now, and I'm remodifying this zone here. I'll delete all these previous zones because they're useless to me now. Or let me leave it there. Let me just leave it there. So now price is trading within this strong level. So I don't know. GBP USD may most likely range next week, or we can just come for a pullback. I can't see a solid zone for that pullback to come into, maybe into here. All right. So if I'm buying, I would like to probably see price pull back into this area, which is 1.31200 before we buy. And the buy, I don't know, the buy for now will still be within this zone that we pinpointed from the weekly time frame. Remember, this tick zone here is coming from the weekly time frame, right? So I think if I am trading GBP USD, I think I'll be sitting on my hands going into next week. Or let me say, if price continues bullish, I would like to see price take out here. Let me put a line there for easy identification. Take out 1.32377. All right. So I'd like to see price take it out next week. I'm doing this on the weekly time frame, but you get the idea. On the smaller time, or let me just go to the 4-hour time frame. So I'd like to see price actually take out that 1.32377 region properly, break out of it properly, then come back for a retest. That's where I want to take advantage of the buys. Then of course we'll continue trading higher. All right. But if GBP USD continues trading higher, let me go to the weekly time frame to look for our next potential target. Our next potential target will be around here. All right, that's how many pip move to the upside. That would be about 160 160 pip move to the upside, so you can capitalize on this on the smaller time frame. All right, so no much to say on GBP USD for now. So guys, thanks for making it to the end of this week's video. I wish you a successful trading week next week, and I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye guys.